Hello, and welcome to our presentation today. Philosophy is the key. It's the why, not the what, that matters. Presented by me, Camille Salter. Um, I actually put together this PowerPoint just presentation in May of 2019. This is July of 2020. At the time, I was doing a presentation for a group, but I never actually had the opportunity to present the presentation that day because there was technical difficulty. So I just kind of was just going off the head that day about some of these concepts. But these concepts that we're going to go over, it's a pretty short presentation, but these are just philosophies and things that I've learned that I've installed into me and to help me achieve my goals. Still striving, but have actually helped me achieve a lot of goals that I've been looking to achieve in life. So we're going to get into it. And I'm just a firm believer in like philosophy is everything. Philosophy is the key. Like how you think, what you think about, your thoughts are things. Like philosophy is a major deal. So I just want to get into that and what everything's about. So a little bit about me. 2001 North Carolina A&T accounting grad, HBCU. 2003 I was involved in a network marketing company in 2001 I was involved in a network marketing company called Prepaid Legal, and then in 2003 I was lucky enough to achieve the position of executive director, which was a big deal for me at the time. In 2004 I started buying real estate and still buy real estate here and there. Still have a nice portfolio of properties that I've accumulated over the years. In 2008, probably my best investment was in Liberty Tax Service. I became a Liberty Tax Service franchisee. Between 2008 and 2016, I was able to open and operate 5 stores with my team that we've been able to compile over that same time period. 2013, was able to pass the CPA exam. It was another goal I was pretty proud of. 2014 was able to be a Top Gun franchisee, a recognition that used to be in place for Liberty Tax Service as a top performing franchisee in the franchise system. 2015 and 16 was able to win our business, KBS Tax Service, doing business as Liberty Tax Service, was able to be recognized as a Philly 100 award winner, was your recognition for a business that's one of the top 100 fastest growing businesses in Philadelphia, which we were able to do that in 2015, 2016. 2016, I was able to participate in a free program that Goldman Sachs offers called Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Graduate, which they compare to getting a master's degree, and I think it was like 3 months. So it was a lot of good networking, a lot of good people I met, and just the experience and the things that we learned was definitely a phenomenal experience. 2017, one of my favorite things that I've been able to get involved in was crypto. Still do it to this day. Still learn everything. It's a fast-moving environment. I'm still learning, but I really enjoy it. Technology, money, finance. So it's right up my alley. 2018, I got more into. I had kind of dibbled and dabbled in stocks like forever, off and on, but never really like tried to learn what it was all about. But in 2018 and to the present, I've been definitely spending a lot of time just learning about fundamental analysis of stocks and just accumulating and building a big stock portfolio, because stocks pay dividends, which dividends equal passive income, which at some point you can use that dividends to replace something that you're doing, whether it's a job or a business or whatever. So just kind of still learning these that environment and what's going on there, that marketplace, which will be a forever learning experience. But over time, the rewards will become greater. So like I said, I did this in 2019. Kind of one of the subtitles was Top 6 Success Skills for 2019 and Beyond. Number 1, I already talked about a little bit, but we'll get into it more. Philosophy, how you think. Thoughts are things. Like if you ever read the book Think and Grow Rich, so I think the first chapter or the intro, it says thoughts are things. I mean, it's so key, so important. Like you don't think that, but what you think about, actually you can materialize into your world. So, your thoughts, they can become things. So you have to be in control of your thoughts, and you have to be thinking in the direction of where you're trying to go in life. Your thoughts are your biggest strengths or weakness. How you think plays the biggest impact on where you're going. One of the greatest skills that I learned is, was introduced at the age of 17. A friend of mine handed me a book That book was Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. I'm saying you must invest in yourself. It's a lifelong skill, personal development, constantly learning, reading, learning from people that have achieved what you have achieved. Nowadays, whether it's a book, YouTube, seminar, Zoom, whatever, just constantly learning and developing yourself, developing your emotional intelligence, developing your patience, developing your faith, developing your goals, developing your work habits, work ethic, just all these things that, you can't really see them. They're not tangible per se, but if you keep putting the proper activities and exercises in, you're going to get the results. It happens. It's just not something that happens overnight. Associations, through your network, this is more about increasing your personal development, or how to improve your personal development through like I said, through your network, authors, teachers, professors, successful people, YouTube, etc. I can't tell you how many times I've been able to just in my life, I've been blessed with a lot of people that have come in and I've been able to mentor. That have been able to mentor me, whether they knew it or not. Whether it was friends, family, business associates, employers, college professors, just authors. Nowadays YouTube, just like give you example, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice was written by Dr. Dennis Kimbro. I had read that book in 1998 for the first time. In 2019, I found out he actually teaches at Clark Atlanta, and he has YouTube videos of his seminars on YouTube. And I was just kind of blown away by some of his, his lectures. And I was like, wow. So I was actually able to, I never met the guy, may never meet him, but I was actually able to just tap into his thoughts and his research by YouTube and being able to take advantage of the seminars that he has on there for free. Setting goals and asking for what you want. A very powerful book of mine that I read, not mine, but a book that I read was called The Aladdin Factor. I read it in 2005, and the book is all about asking, asking for what you want. And one of the exercises in that book is writing down they would say write down 101 things or ask for 101 things, but in written form on a piece of paper. But you can't not stop till you get to 101. Doesn't really matter what it is, big or small. Write it down. And if I still have that spreadsheet, I typed it up. If I look back on that spreadsheet, it's amazing at some of the things that I was able to achieve on that spreadsheet. Just didn't think that I was going to do it at the time. Just seemed unrealistic, or just like where my career is and in life right now it's on that sheet that I wrote from reading this book, The Aladdin Factor. And then with the goals, every New Year's I'd spend a couple hours writing out my goals, and then I type it up, put it on a little piece of paper, and I put it up on my wall in my office. Or when I didn't have an office, it was just in my room next to my mirror, near my bed. And I would look at that every day, and I would read those goals until they're like imprinted in me and part of me in my subconscious, so that my subconscious is guiding me, my choices subconsciously, of where I'm trying to go to get to those goals. And a lot of times I may not get those goals the first year that I write them. My goals are very specific as far as I write the date, the time, and I write them as if they've already happened. And writing exactly what I want. But what I can say is a lot of times I may not get it that year, but I may get it the year after. But it was like I had programmed myself to do this. Once again, never stop learning. Right at this, I think in May alone, I was in 2 different courses, like a boot camp, like a 8-week boot camp. I'm in the tax business. It was tax season when I'm still doing taxes, still running the business, still doing my accounting work. I was in an options course, and also still into a crypto, learning community and another stock learning community, all at the same time, just constantly learning. It just never stops, because everything keeps moving. And if you're not investing in your skills and what you can offer to the economy, to the marketplace, you're going to be left behind. The last concept is just business school is the what, like what you're doing, but philosophy is the why. When you go to business school, if you go, they're just telling you what to do, like how things should be done exactly. You need to follow these protocols. But philosophy, you're asking a question. Well, why is it like this? Why is there assets and liabilities? Why is there debits and credits and so on and so forth? Profit and loss statements. You're asking why. Well, why are we doing it like this? Why do we have to come to class at 8 o'clock in the morning? You're asking why, and the question why, can produce so many different results, but you have to be, have to ask the question. It's kind of just thinking. Like thinking is, in my opinion, is such a lost art. A lot of people just don't want to think. But if you can think, if you can question why things are, and kind of see the inner workings of things, because of how you're asking why and seeing how you can improve on a certain thing and how it's being done, well, you're able to add value. Value can turn into economic remuneration, which now is money in your pocket. So you've been able to add value. Number 2, problem solving, critical thinking, a slowly dying skill. Your pay is in direct correlation with the size of the problems that you are able to solve. My uncle, my uncle, he's 10 years older than me. He's always been an entrepreneur from as far back as I can remember, from, when I was little, and he had a t-shirt business and I was working for him at different events, happy to sell t-shirts and make whatever money I could make. But later he started a computer business, computer consultant business. He actually was one of the first people that I saw with a computer. I used to use a computer to play games. So that's probably where I've got my, fascination with technology. But anyway, when I started working for him, doing whatever data entry to later on accounting to even like building websites for a second, every time I ran into a problem, I would just immediately say, his name is Joel. So I immediately say, Joel, how do I do this? Joel, I need your help. Joel. And I remember, one day he just looked at me. He was like, look, I need you to exhaust all your options. Try everything you can before you ask me, try to, whatever. I'm your last resort. And I never forgot that. And so going forward from that point, I tried to not bother him as much as possible. I tried to figure out things for myself. And if I couldn't figure out, then of course, the last result, I would go to him. And now having a business, being a business owner and having employees where, early on, some of these employees, especially in leadership positions, they would come to me for a lot of stuff. And then, over time after work with me, they just know, like, I have to be the last resort. Like, you have to exhaust all of your options. What have you done first before you've reached out to me? Because problem solving, that is the key. If you could solve a problem, that's where you're adding value. Once again, exhaust all resources before you come to me. You got to be able to have some problem solving skills. I mean, you can, it's a lot of people that can do different things if they're told exactly what to do. But if something falls out of line within that particular system, then now they don't know what to do. They're just pulling their hair out, sitting there all day, not doing anything, or just stuck. But problem solving, if you can solve a problem, that's where you can add value. Number 3, your personal economy. You have to, like, in our society, our environment, money is important. Money plays a part in our daily lives. So philosophy, if you can't master $10,000, how are you going to master $1 million? Know all of your cash inflows and outflows, be organized. So, knowing every month where your money goes, knowing what your expenses are. Years ago, I had a girlfriend way back in the day, and I used to keep all my receipts in a paper bag. And at the end of the year, during tax time, I would pull out that paper bag and I would spend days just filling out a spreadsheet, one side being income and expenses, one side being income, the other side being expenses. I'm typing up everything. So after this happened, my girlfriend at the time, she said, why don't you just write them down when they happen? I said, oh, that makes sense. So since that time, which is probably like 2004, 2005, I have my spreadsheets that have my income and expenses where I can see exactly where my money's coming from, what are my expenses. I can compare July 2020's income to July 2019's income, the expenses, so on and so forth. It's just so helpful in me being organized. I know nowadays they have even better softwares, but I guess because that's the way that kind of got me on track with being organized, I still use it, just a straight Excel spreadsheet, and I update it every day. People might think, oh, it takes so much time. It literally takes me like maybe 2 to 3 minutes tops, if that, just to have my income and expenses, and organized. And let me go back up to the, mastering the $10,000 or mastering $1 million. What I mean by that is, like, if you're the type of person where you get, let's say you get a $10,000 paycheck, or you just made an extra $10,000, and then, but you go out and you buy a new car, you buy some jewelry, you buy new clothes, expensive clothes, sneakers, so on and so forth, and in a week you have nothing. Well, what do you think is going to happen when you get $1 million? You have to be able to master the small amounts before you can master the larger amounts. You need to be, if you can't master that 10, what are you going to do with that one? You're going to be on, lottery ruin my life type of show. So that's what I'm talking about, like mastering little things, resisting the desire to just constantly spend your money. You have to be able to save your money. You have to be able to invest your money. You have to be in control of your urges when it comes to spending money. And it's hard because you're constantly being fed spend commercials. Everybody's trying to advertise and get you to buy something. Social media, people are always, flashing what they're buying, this and that. So it's definitely difficult, but it's a skill that you have to master. Next, familiarizing yourself with an income statement. What is, income statement just shows your income and expenses for a period of time. A balance sheet. Balance sheet shows you all of your assets, all the things you own that has value versus all the things that you may owe. And the difference between all what you own that has value versus what you owe is your net worth. For like videos and like simple breakdown descriptions of these, I would recommend going to Investopedia and just type in the search bar, balance sheet, income statement. They have nice little videos, nice little descriptions. But these are two major accounting statements that every person actually has. Every person has an income statement attached to them. The money you make from your job, the money you make from your business, the expenses on your house, expenses your business, they all are part of your income statement. Your balance sheet, your house, your asset. The house is the asset. The mortgage, if you have one, is the liability. The difference would be the net worth of that particular situation. So you need to be familiar with those things because it is important. One strategy that I learned early on, or was introduced to early on when I was trying to get my finances in control, was the 10-10-10-70 strategy. Well, what's that? If I get $1, I need to take 10 cents and invest it, 10 cents and save it, and 10 cents and give it away, donate it to a cause. And I need to work on living off 70 cents of that dollar. So people talk about, well, give away money. Well, like, why would I do that? Well, I can tell you, like, giving is like almost the same as receiving. In my experience, I've started to give a lot more money over time as I've gotten older. And I can tell you, it's almost like clockwork. If I give away money, I'm going to get it back probably 2 or 3 times more within the next few days or week or whatever. It just happens. I don't know why that is, but that's what happens. And my goal is to try to move the 10 to maybe 30, the other 10 to 30, the other 10 to 30, and maybe live off of 10. When you're operating at that level is where you're in control of your finances, and you don't need the money per se. I mean, of course you need it for certain basic living expenses, but everything else is kind of rolling on clockwork. Keeping your cost of living low, avoid depreciating assets. Well, what I mean by that, everybody's situation is different, but I mean, when just give my example, like when I was, for 15 years, I lived in a duplex. My average cost of living was about $200 to $300 a month. So what did that do? That allowed me to take risk in certain areas in business and life that other people couldn't because they had higher bills. I didn't have for about over 10 years, I didn't have a car note. So not having those monthly obligations allowed me to be more flexible. I mean, not having a car note, so this is 2020. From 2011 to July of 2020, I had the same exact car. Like, it didn't care. Friends been through multiple cars, luxury cars, but I just kept my same little 2008 Toyota Highlander. And the only reason I gave it up is because it was just getting too expensive to maintain with repairs. But avoiding depreciating assets like vehicles, buying a brand new car that depreciates as soon as you drive off the lot, buying expensive clothes that, aren't, as soon as you buy it, really is not worth anything. I mean, it may give you some personal pleasure, but after that, it has no real value. You can't do anything with it. Next thing, just strive to have passive income to pay for assets. Whether it's dividends from stocks, maybe you can put up a course online or a mini book online and get paid from an Amazon account, from the Amazon bookstore that you can self-publish your own stuff. Things like dividends, real estate. There's crypto passive income. There's all different types of passive income stream. If you're a marketer, a YouTube marketer, after you get a certain amount of content online on YouTube, they start paying you for advertising to show ads on your videos. There's all different types of ways to do it, but the more passive income you have, that frees up your time so you can do more of what you want to do. So that's kind of like been a goal of mine, to constantly accumulate as much passive income as possible. It's definitely my favorite way of making money. The Millionaire Next Door, that was a book that I read that I think I was like maybe in my early 20s, I read that book, and it's a book that kind of introduces you to like just being financially aware of what you're doing with your money, the decisions you're making. Like, are they smart decisions or are they bad decisions? And the book was actually presented to me, like saying, my uncle presented the book to me and said, this is probably our, saying his father, but my father is probably him, the millionaire next door. So when I read the book, so that motivated me more to read the book, and just kind of, duplicating those things in that book kind of released the urge. I didn't have the urge just to buy things, as many depreciating assets, or just as many things that don't hold value. Hiring a good accountant, interview an accountant, then hire a good accountant. Take your time, but of course, you may not be able to afford an accountant per se, but you can, take the time out the year, and maybe once a year you find an accountant you can consult with to just ask questions. Have a lot of accountants, they will do this for you. Take a look at your books, but if you have the disposable income, or you're able to produce it, hire an accountant to go over your income and expenses, help you set up a system to better track your income and expenses. And that is a good way to just get in front of your income and expenses and your financial personal economy, so that you can just be better prepared for life, expenses, surprises, taxes, so on and so forth. And that leads me to the next thing: being cocktail party smart about your tax. I mean, you're not saying you have to be a tax expert, but you should know some basic things. A lot of tax companies offer free to low cost tax courses that you could take just to get an idea of what's going on with the tax world. I mean, I know a lot of people feel like taxes, like they want to pull their hair out, drives them crazy, so on and so forth. But it's something that is part of the American way, as far as paying taxes and the lifestyle and how everything is designed. So if you don't understand this, you could be just wasting money. I mean, today, I had like a 1 hour conversation with my parents about, should you use a C Corp or a S Corp tax? I mean, obviously that's a little higher up in the conversation level about taxes, but I mean, that's just being aware of these things and thinking about these things, because the more money you can save on taxes, the more money you can put in your pocket. Sales, getting your point across. Here we have some pictures of some Girl Scout cookie ladies, young ladies. Children are like the best salespeople. You're already a great salesperson. You have been, because everybody's been a child, or you have met one. I mean, I remember, I think it was last year, the year before, just moved into a new house, and a neighbor came by with his daughter selling Girl Scout cookies. It was like, how could I say no? I had to buy. I mean, so the child has that just impact. So, and everybody has sold as a child, whether you were selling your parents on buying the latest toys, selling your parents on what you wanted for Christmas, selling your parents on why we should go to the mall, selling, whatever the case may be. Just also, you're constantly getting sold to, and you have been selling for a long time. Kind of just touched on that, but like I said, when you put your clothes on to go to work in the morning, when you're going out to some place to potentially meet somebody you're looking to date, you're presenting yourself in a way you're selling, constantly getting sold to. Just think about when you scroll on your social media feeds, you watch television. I mean, there's always ads. We're constantly being sold to. Now, just got to get rid of the stigma of I hate selling. Just think of it like, you may say I hate selling, but think of it as, you enjoy helping someone make a decision that could be better for them. Like for me, I'm not somebody who's like a natural salesperson. I really, I would say I was pretty shy growing up, but as I've gotten older and realized, like, being shy and that type of stuff doesn't help you make money per se, or help you be successful in a financial way. So I had to, get out of my shell and kind of expand my comfort zone. And part of that was learning to communicate, learning to sell, maybe having to speak to people that I normally wouldn't be able to speak to, things like that. But I mean, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And it's not always, like I said, it's not about just hardcore, trying to, trick somebody into buying something. It's just helping somebody make a decision. If you can help people make decisions that benefit them, then you'll get benefited and rewarded for doing that as well. Sweat equity, mastering the skill of working for free. Mastering the skill of working for free. Who does that? But it's something like you have to learn how to work without expecting a paycheck. So just think about when I started my business, and this is an example here of, you start a business with just a lot of stuff you do in life. Early on, you're just showing year one, you're putting in the your revenue. This is income over here. This is time over here. Year one, you're putting in a lot of time, but no income, and then over time, you're getting. So I'm sorry. Here, year one, we're looking at your revenue, and early on, you have little to no revenue, but you may be putting in a lot of hours of time. As time goes on, your revenue, the amount of time you have to put into your whatever you're doing decreases, but the revenue starts to increase because you're getting better at it, and time has sweat equity time has started to kick in. So I think about my business. My first 2 years in business, I personally was able to put in my pocket about $400 after 2 years of business. Now, most people would have quit. Most people would have failed, but I was in a situation where I kind of couldn't quit. I was like kind of stuck. And it wasn't until probably like year 5 or 6 where I was actually really able to start receiving like nice financial rewards. But that's what I had to put a lot of time in. Now, 11 years into it, we're definitely, this diagram is definitely kicked into place, putting in less time, but the financial rewards are way exceeding the time. But that's because they put the sweat equity in early on. I remember listening to a tape early on in my career, building a network marketing business. When Robert Kiyosaki, he had a quote, he said, when building a big business, you may have to go years without a paycheck. And I had listened to that tape plenty of times, and so it was in my mind, and I actually had to live that. So, I know it works. And then going back to multi-level marketing, network marketing, prepaid legals, I've done a lot of network marketing businesses, but prepaid legal was probably the one I had the most success. But I put so many hours in. Worked a lot. And a lot of times I wouldn't get paid. Wasn't getting paid, but I was working really, really, really hard. And in retrospect, I didn't get paid, but I got experience. I developed a work ethic, and I developed a subconscious mentality that I don't have to look for a paycheck for the work that I'm putting in. I don't have to clock watch. I don't have to always think about how much I'm going to get paid, because I know if I put the work in, if I do the right things over and over and over again, eventually the money will show up. So, that's just a skill that I'm great, that I'm very thankful to have, but it's something that people have to be willing to do. You have to be able to pay your dues. You have to be able to pay the price of success, which I kind of get into. The price of success is paid up front. You have to put the work in. You're not going to come out and just start immediately decide I'm going to start a new business, I'm going to start this new skill, this new new job, whatever, and just think you're going to be rich tomorrow. No, you have to put the work in. You got to lay the groundwork. And here's just makes me think of another example. Kind of keep bringing my uncle up, but these life lessons were they're very important to me. Well, one time it was the latter part of his t-shirt business, and I was getting a little older, but I just thought like, hey, I've worked with him when I could part time when he would have events, and I would get paid. We did this one event. He had a table, and there was a lot of people. And during the event, he was like, I may not, if we don't sell it, I may not be able to pay you anything. I was like, okay, sure, cool. And I was thinking, there's no way he's not going to pay me. This is, I'm putting in 5, 6, 7 hours. I'm counting the money. I think we might have been getting paid like 6,000 hours. So I'm counting the money. I'm thinking about what's going to happen after. So, the event happened. I think he may have sold one shirt. We get back to his parents' house, my grandparents' house, and, we're putting stuff back in the house. And I'm like, okay, so it's time to get paid. He was like, nah, I told you if we didn't sell it, I wouldn't be able to pay you. And that let me know right there, like, that can happen. You can put work in and not get paid. So to kind of, show me about, the power of, yes, you do have to like the pay comes after the production. You don't just get paid for showing up. You have to produce. You have to create value. And if there's no value, there's no production, then you don't get paid. All that to say that the price of success is paid up front. Whatever you're trying to do, you have to pay a price. You have to put the work in, put the time in, put the sweat equity in, and you can't expect the result immediately. But if you put the stuff at the proper work ethic, the proper time, then the results will pay off. Sometimes it just takes time. When I talk about number 6, having a strong table for success, what that means is this table is your income streams. You want to have multiple income streams. You want to have multiple income generating skills. If you have multiple income streams and multiple income generating skills, and this is your table, if one leg breaks, the table may be a little wobbly, but it can still kind of stand. But if you only have one leg to your table and that breaks, well, you're you're flat. So the philosophy is that profits are better than wages. There's nothing wrong with working and getting a paycheck, but if you can, if you're working and get a paycheck, you'd also have some type of, in popular terms now, side hustle, gig, whatever, but that you can make profits from, because profits are better than wages. Plus, if you have some type of business, way more of the tax code opens up for you for deductions and things like that. Skills, talents, products that other people will pay for. Those this is just different place you can go. Upwork, people per hour, freelance, a different place. If you have certain skills, you can go there and advertise your services, and people will pay you for your services. For a long time, like when I was talking about, I was paying my price, I was putting work in. I was unbalanced, but I was at a young age. I was also introduced to this concept of a wheel of life. Career, financial, spiritual, physical, intellectual, family, social. How are you balancing these things? So my financial goal is to have passive income to exceed my monthly expenses. Achieving my goal to give financially, like being able to give more. Spirituality, meditating, yoga, personal weekend retreats. Like I started yoga, I think in like 2016, and I've really enjoyed it. Working out, running, just thinking, meditating, these things, they definitely help me. They just help me, just clear my mind and rejuvenate my energy. Like I said, once again, physical, working out 4 to 5 times a week, taking time to do absolutely nothing. I mean, for me, I'm such a busybody nowadays. Never thought I'd be like this. Actually, it's hard for me to not do anything. But I have to really like plan and just say to myself, it is okay to not do nothing. You can just chill out. But it's important. Like working out, I found a gym where I'm able to go. They have 30-minute workouts. I really like the gym, 9 rounds. And I've probably gone to that gym more than I've gone, probably like 10 times more than I've gone to any gym in my life. Like between 2018 and 19, I probably went over 300 times just to 9 rounds, because it's 30 minutes. Like I've never went to a place where it's like a 30-minute workout, and I felt it, body change, so on and so forth. For me, health, this is my own personal choice, but stop eating meat, trying to only eat period within an 8-hour window. These things just to kind of balance and stay healthy, because health is wealth, and I'm trying to stay healthy so I can stay productive, stay sharp, and enjoy life. Career and intellectual, constantly learning. I talked about that, investing in myself, reading, trying new ideas, growing my comfort zone. I mean, I'm always trying, not always, but a lot of times I do try just different things that are uncomfortable for me. And I found over life, like when I was scared of something, or something I didn't think I could do something, and I just kind of, maybe I was forced into it, or I just had to try it, and I had to expand my comfort zone. Well, I find like the comfort zone never goes back; it just expands. So the more you can grow out of it, the more you can, step outside that zone. You're going to keep growing and keep, growing and accessing more of life, more of the world to your benefit. Just got to keep stepping outside that comfort zone. Family and social, making time to be with good people and to keep seeking out the right people to associate with. Associations are key. I mean, if you're around, hanging around with successful people that are doing the things that you want to do, or have achieved, or achieving goals that you want to go do, or striving for in directions that you want to strive, it's only a matter of time before you do those same things. You'll just rub off on each other, and it's just the way things go. Spending time with family, friends, just that precious time that we, sometimes we may take for granted. I know I did for some time, but just when I get those times now, I really enjoy it. It's just a calming experience, and calming, fun, relaxing, just being able to just let go with family and friends. So this is the wheel of life. It's like something I definitely want to keep in my mindset, because I don't want to be out of balance. Like balance is such a key thing to me, where I didn't know how important it was, but I just, like I said early, maybe about 2012, 13, I just really was out of balance. Just work. Like didn't make time for anything. I know I lost friends because I missed events and so on and so forth. So, try to make sure I'm just paying attention to, because there's more to life. As much as I like to work, there's definitely more to life to work. There's so much more. And then there was one of my favorite business mentors, a guy that I never met, but I listened to his weekend seminar for like 2 or 3 years in a row in my car, Jim Rohn. And on the last, maybe the second to last, one of the last CDs, he talks about, well, what is success? And he gives an example. Well, I'll just read here. He says, success is having a vision. Well, this is what I'm saying. Success is having a vision for how you see your life and then going out and living that vision. No one else can define your success. And so Jim Rohn kind of talks about, well, what is a success? Is it the house? Is it the car? And he's like, no, it's not. It's neither of those things. Success is, your vision of your life. So if you say, you know what, I'm gonna go go live out in the woods, build a cabin, and I'm gonna live there for the rest of my life, and you go do that, well, guess what? You're successful. So so the ability for me to be able to define my own success, I didn't know that was possible. I thought like society defines success, but just to see like you control your, like, what you say that you want your life to be, and if you go to do it and you achieve your goals that you plan for yourself, then you are successful. Nobody else can dictate what your success is. Some of my favorite quotes. I've read this book in 2018, The Surrender Experiment. It was a really powerful book, and I wrote this. It was at the end of 2018, and this presentation from 2019. So, and they had a saying is, freedom is on the other side of fear, and I was just like, wow. And then I listened to Dennis Kimbro, like I talked about earlier. I listened to his YouTube presentation. He talks about prosperity begins in the mind and ends in the purse. I mean, those are powerful philosophies that if you incorporate into your life, they can definitely be. It just can rearrange things. These kind of philosophies, they just help rearrange negative philosophies or philosophies that may not help you go to where you're trying to go. So that's my presentation. It's been, I guess, over a year and a half. I mean, about a year and a couple months that I finally got to do the presentation. So thank you for your time. If you want to find me on Instagram, I'm at @A_BalanceMill, and on Facebook, www.cryptocraft.com. That's a lot of my crypto information, access to my crypto course, etc. I hope you guys got some value with this. Share with whoever you might want to share, who you think they can give value with. And if, like I said, if you need to reach out to me, I'm at those places. Have a great day.